Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jockey Books. Today, we are interviewing DEREK Thompson on his newest release, West Country Murder. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So today, we're pretty much going to be doing 5 questions in 5 minutes, give or take, and we have some really fun questions that DEREK will be giving the most fun answers to. So let's jump on in with question 1, which is, if you could use 3 words to describe your book, what would they be and why?
First word would be character-driven, with a hyphen. It's 2 words in one. Because the way that I write, I think it's really all about the characters. It starts with who they are, where they've come from, and what motivates them, and the consequences to their actions. This is like a therapy session. Second word would be twisty, because it describes the personality of the main character, D.S. Craig Wilde, and also because I'm very plot-driven as a writer, so I like to lead the readers in one direction and change my mind. It's a bit like the comedy technique where you sort of thwart their expectations. There are a couple of gags in the book because I occasionally write gags online and for radio. Ooh. And the third word, of which I don't know what's coming from the back of my head, is probably mystery, because at the end of the day, the books in the series are a mystery. You start off with a dead body, and you have to work out not only who done it, but why they did it.
What inspired this book?
A few things. I really grew to love that you don't always love your main character initially. It's like speed dating, and then over time you get to know them. And for me, after the first book, Long Shadows, I just wanted to know more about him and his backstory and what he would do next. So it's almost like being a fly on the wall camera crew. Why write it? I think what happens next, there were some consequences I wanted to carry over from book 1, and I'm fascinated by secrets and lies, the secrets that we keep from other people, and also the lies that we tell ourselves, and choices, which is part of consequences. How one choice at one point in time can just change the whole trajectory of a life.
When it comes to writing your novels, how do you write them? Is it an outlining process, or you just dive right on it in?
Well, both, of course. I have ideas, the characters have ideas, and we have these meetings in my head a lot of the time. Sometimes characters will say, I want to do this. The way that I write generally is like a magpie. I will pick little bits and pieces up when I'm trawling for ideas. There'll be a central theme, and I would say I walk around the idea a lot, so I can spend months just kicking the idea around like an old football. But it is very much rooted in what the character wants or what the character will do. So it's a dual process, which is probably why it takes me far longer than it needs to.
With that being said, so what is your number one best writing advice to an aspiring author or an author that's kind of lost in their project currently?
It sounds trite, but I think back to the time it took me to finish a first novel. I think the key thing is to keep writing, but within that to challenge yourself, to avoid self-censorship. Write whatever it is you want to write, whether it's violent, whether it seems more intimate than you would be in talking to people around you. Give your characters life, but also to develop your own style, because in doing the writing every day, ideally, you will pick up momentum. We all borrow from people. I love Raymond Chandler. And on those rare occasions where someone says, oh, that line was a bit Chandler-esque, I'm delighted. But I would hope I've developed my own very British, slightly sweary style, very different from Raymond Chandler, although, of course, he did spend a lot of time in Britain.
One of the best quotes that I've ever heard from an author is that nothing's original anymore. It's just how you make it your own.
Yeah, I think it's true. I mean, you can have twins that grow up in the same family environment and have very different experiences.
I'm a twin, and my twin sister and I are polar opposites, and it shows. Like, it's as if we were books. She would be a contemporary and I would be a high fantasy.
It's good to know that psychic awareness workshop has paid off.
With this book being now out in the world, what are you working on currently?
Too many things, of course. I have a couple of friends, which I'll shout out to, Warren Stevenson and Sarah Campbell, who are my main readers of all the books. And Sarah's become a super fan. And if it wasn't for the fact that we were friends before, she'd be classified as a stalker. Partly for her and partly sort of for my own amusement. I've started the 6th Thomas Bladen book, but I'm about 33,000 words into book 6. in the series, which is kind of currently codenamed Lazarus, because it's taken a while. So I'm working on that. I'm working on the great American novel, which is standalone and doesn't really fit any genre, which is why I'm still working on it, called Scars and Stripes, loosely based by a year I spent in America long ago. When would that have been? 1986. Back in the day. I'm working on that. That's complete, but it doesn't work, so it needs surgery. And I'm outlining the next Craig Wilde mystery. So I have a dead body, which is always a good start for a crime mystery. I have a location. And I have a sort of plan to bring in some of the characters in book 2. I like to reuse characters. I like this idea of consequence and connection and relationship.
Oh, yeah.
So some of them will be back again. Hopefully. I've got a sort of 2 or 3 year plan with which I'm certain to disappoint myself.
Well, that's the fun of it, because you never know.
Well, that's true. You never know. And also, I think it's good to have something to aim for. I mean, in line with keeping writing, I think it's important to have goals, even if you don't meet them.
We want to say a huge thank you to Derek for joining us on our segment today of 5 questions in 5 minutes. West Country Murder is out now, so definitely go head to the link in our description to get your copy today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!